Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of Solutionaries here on Regenerative Media TV. I'm your host, Michael DiMartino, where I take time almost every week to highlight some of the amazing innovators and solutionaries that are doing incredible, beneficial work and projects for people and planet. And of course, that can encompass everything from green technology and the green economy to regenerative agriculture, and even people who are working directly with people as far as emotional intelligence and community resilience. So, on this episode, I'm really happy to finally have some time here with our next guest. I will say I'm here in Crestone, Colorado, where I live. It's a kind of a cold day here as we start to merge into 2026. It looks like it's going to be a very optimistic year for solutions and innovators and great regenerative and sustainable and green projects for people and planet. So without any further ado, I'd like to welcome our guest today from the Promise Worldwide, not just from, but really the founder. We want to welcome Chris Robinson.
Thank you, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here on the show with you. It's been a long time coming. I'm excited to be with you today.
Absolutely. And again, I want to acknowledge Professor Alan Chatner from Green to Gold. It's one of the ways that we had first connected. And I've known Alan for probably over a dozen years now. He helped incubate Earthstock Foundation and Enterprises. And just recently, we kind of agreed to put our superpowers together to form Regeneration Global, which is a strategic alliance, a collaborative resource directory of different products and consultants and contractors and projects that people are doing. So also I got to spend a little time with you during the Earthstock Summit in Los Angeles in October. And, this is not just a one-off. We are in deep collaboration, and I'm really happy and honored to showcase you and your work today. So just to start off with, can you tell our audience a little bit about who Chris Robinson is and what you do and kind of what led you to helping to found the Promise Worldwide?
Yeah, for sure. So, like I said, or like you said, I am the founder and the CEO of the Promise Worldwide Incorporated. The Promise was founded basically to address the main issues that affect the United States and the world. And what we're doing is we're combining existing and proven technologies to resolve these issues. In doing so, we're helping the Earth and providing a healthier um, move more towards an efficient future for the human race. It's just something that I've been passionate about all of my life. I grew up in the wilderness of Flagstaff, Arizona, and I've just always been like, when I've seen the urban sprawl and what was going on with the planet and everything like that, I just wanted to leave the place better for my grandchildren, not just my children, but my grandchildren. And so, we're working in defense for the innocence, and mostly the innocence is Mother Earth and the animals in it. And so, um, also helping to educate folks, to be more eco-conscious. It's not a complicated thing. It's a very simple process to do. It's just a changing of your thought process. So that's really what we're all about, and that's what I'm all about, and that's where my passion is. And just been phenomenal watching this thing come together. Really by a high power by this has happened. So I'm just really excited that we have this opportunity, and it's going to be earth changing, life changing for a lot of people.
Amazing. See, I learned something new today. I didn't know you were from Flagstaff, Arizona
Ah,
area.
yeah.
I lived in Flagstaff from 1987 till 1994 and founded what was called the Morning Star Farm, which was a eco village just north out by Miriam Crater of
Oh, wow.
Flagstaff, and did a lot of work with the Dene, also known as the Navajo and the Hopi people,
Yep.
not only hosting events around traditional wisdom, which, in sustainability, they've been stewards of the earth for many thousands of years before many of maybe our colonial relatives arrived here. But we had a whole center and we did natural building and wind. Since then, I've actually had children and moved to the East Coast where I work for the University of Massachusetts. So I learned something new today And the second thing I just want to comment before we kind of dig into a little more about what the promise is one of the things that really impressed me about your work is that you're really wholeheartedly invested in what you're doing. It's not just about greenwashing or ROI and that type of stuff, but you're really, like you said, you're looking down the road for your children, your grandchildren, having a compassionate and beneficial impact for them and also for the planet. So I'm glad I learned something new every day. So I've already succeeded in my daily quest. But how did you go from what you're doing now and the work that you've done in the past to really committing to being the CEO and founder of The Promise Worldwide?
So, I mean, it wasn't an easy transition. I mean, it was a total change of my life. I mean, my professional background is in finance and real estate. And I've been, a business owner for many, many years. And so this was not an easy thing to do, to transition to something that is, there's a lot of, I don't know if there, I want to say there's resistance for this, but the path is not very easy. I mean, it's very, you come up with the concept and you're like, this is a really good thing. And you would think that people would be like, oh, this is amazing. Yeah, how can I get behind it? But there has been, some pushback from, the folks that have things of standard that the way that they have been for a long time. And so sometimes, folks don't like to see change. And they're like, it's not broken for us. We don't need to fix it. Just let things stay with the way that they are. And I'm like, leaving things the way that they are is not good for this planet. It's not good for our children. It's not good for us right now. So we can make an easy change, and it doesn't have to affect anyone's bottom line. In fact, it's actually a profitable process. I wasn't designing it to be profitable. It just ended up being that way because it just works out logically.
Yeah, very interesting because also in our connection to Professor Tratner, who's been doing sustainability work over 50 some odd years and kind of one of the co-founders of Earth Day, a lot of our understanding has been, well, we've had this concept and methodology of sustainability for decades now. And as important and as many benchmarks that it's achieved, we can't just sustain anymore because if we look and whether you believe in climate change or not, whether you're seeing what's happening with the increase of natural disasters
Yeah.
or the impact of the environment around water and food security and even the degradation of soil,
Yeah.
collapsing infrastructure, we can't just try to sustain. We really, that's why I love this word that's being used a lot now about regenerative. We have to
Yes.
keep what works, but we have to allow those things that don't work anymore to kind of become compost in kind of
Right.
a agricultural ecosystem perspective, become compost to regenerate with the new types of technologies and innovations, thing like circular economics, a green economy, which is exactly the type of work I know that you're doing. So for people watching, can you tell us some of the amazing initiatives and different types of technologies and things that you're kind of helping to curate and bring forward?
Sure. Our primary focus is the major problem for the world, and that is landfills. Where our trash goes. A lot of people don't think about it. After you take your trash out to the trash can and the big trash truck comes and picks it up, it's out of your mind after that. But it's a huge problem. Not just for the land that it takes up, but for the water table underneath it. It contaminates the land that's all around it, and it even affects the atmosphere. It affects the air. The pollutants go into the air. So that was one thing that we focused on initially was the landfills, and there's a lot of wonderful things that can actually come out of the landfills. So we're working to process the waste that is currently in the ground of the landfills and the waste that is freshly coming in. We completely process all of that waste, and we turn that waste into eco-friendly products that won't harm the environment, and it doesn't harm the air. It's good for everybody around it. It's good for the communities around it because a lot of the folks in the communities around the landfills have contamination from that too. Um, so from that, some of the products that we are producing are highly sought after, and they're a solution for current issues today. Some of the initial products that we're looking to produce are like turquoise hydrogen, which is phenomenal. green hydrogen, green ammonia, synthetic
Mm.
compressed natural gas, carbon neutral fuels, purified liquid oxygen, purified water, nitrogen, and carbon neutral or sustainable air fuel as well. And those are just a few of the products that we're producing directly from the waste. The other thing is that we're producing is clean energy, and that can power so many other things. We also have the ability to fully process all recyclables, and they don't have to be sorted or anything like that. So there's no complicated process. We sort the waste from the recyclables. We can process all plastics, glass, paper, aluminum, lithium, and e-waste. So we're a total problem solver. So you can just keep going as you're naturally doing, throw your waste away, and it comes to us, and then we can fully process that out and make these wonderful products that doesn't change your way of life. It's just a natural thing. It just comes across, but it's not harmful to the earth or the environment around you.
Wow, that's incredible. I saw recently a brief documentary on some engineers in the San Francisco Bay Area that were taking plastics and figuring out how to turn it into like a biofuel. So I know there's a lot of different methodologies around that, but the fact that you can turn trash into treasure and green products is incredible. I saw recently another film about, we know so much of what's happening with the effect of microplastics, and it was based in India about much of the clothing being thrown in landfills and the polyester and the different fibers and stuff.
Yeah.
And what they actually did is started going into some of these areas and again recycling that. So so that's one aspect of what you're doing. Are you doing other things and related to trash? And within that, maybe we could do a little deeper dive so people can kind of understand some of the innovative technology and genius that you're bringing to really this global issue. I know the United States, we used to send a lot of our trash over to other countries, and now a lot of other countries don't want to accept our barge
Yeah.
fulls of garbage anymore. So this is something that's really, needing innovation and needing some really advanced solutions for. So if you could talk a little bit more about other things you're doing, or we can dive a little deeper into the trash into treasures work that you're doing.
So there's two other main things that we're doing with this, and it all starts with the clean energy that we're creating from this whole process right here, and that is we have conceptualized an environmentally controlled agriculture center, and that is a combination of vertical growth center and industrial greenhouse, and that allows us to go anywhere in the world and be able to grow all kinds of crops. With the current technology that we have now, we can grow all kinds of crops, trees, everything, medicinal herbs, everything like that. And we can grow them like uh, just unbelievable yields. And we don't process, we process far less water. There's no herbicides or anything like that. It's all natural, it's all organic. And then we're also working with local farmers to help them focus on regenerative agriculture, no-till agriculture, so that we can work with the ecosystem and their ground that it comes back alive again. It's not being starved out by their practices, their agricultural practices that's killing the land because they're forced to grow what they're growing, the corn and the soybeans and everything like that, and they don't have the ability to grow any good crops or any kind of variety like that, and they're kind of beholden to that. So we're working with them to break them off of, if you will, the farming food stamp process, if you will. And the other thing that we're doing is
And just before you go there, I just want to mention, I'm took a lengthy program, became a permaculture designer, and I think one of the issues is not only because we're killing the life force of soil, as we find out by herbicides and pesticides and insecticides, but we're also doing monocropping, where you might have thousands of square acres of one crop that are just pulling nutrients from the soil and using water, but we're not using some of these advanced practices like things like drip irrigation or composting tea or feeding the soil. But as we know, because in the general large industrial agricultural model. It's just about adding more nutrients, more nitrogen, more
Mm,
pesticides, and not looking at really the nature of soil. Actually, someone I know, Ryland, recently did a film called Kiss the Ground, where it's about the importance of regenerative agriculture and the idea of making the soil optimal so that the plants flourish, and you don't have to add so many toxic substances. A lot of it is petroleum based things to the soil, which basically kill the soil,
yeah.
and don't allow the plant to optimize its growth. So that is I know, a huge area right now, and they're doing a lot of stuff around potential legislation, I think, in DC, because the majority of our agricultural industry throughout the Midwest, and especially Central Valley of California, from Redding and Sacramento down to Bakersfield, is
Yeah.
it used to be beautiful wetlands. It's been drained. It's been toxic. It's become saline.
Yeah.
They're doing flood irrigation, and of
Yeah.
course, California is prone to drought situations. So again, an old model that needs to be looked at and regenerated with some more of these regenerative practices. And again, you were sorry, you were going to mention one more initiative and work that you're doing.
Sure, just right quick. And I mean, healthy ground, if the ground is allowed to become fully healthy, it takes care of itself. The crops take care of themselves. And so, a simple thing like allowing a valuable cover crop to go in between, the regular crops that you're putting in there helps the ground become healthy. One of the other things that we're doing is fully organic composting. So we have the ability to in our facilities to fully process organic waste. Even if it's in the packaging, we can take it, we can separate it out of the packaging, and we can do this on a commercial scale and bring out really, really healthy composting to help bring the earth back to its where it's supposed to be so you can
Mm.
grow healthier crops. You don't have to add all of this stuff. It actually defends, the crops actually are able to defend themselves against the pest if you allow them to do that. So I
Right.
mean, those are just some of the phenomenal things that we're doing. I mean, it sounds kind of simple, but I mean, it is actually a process, even when you're working with the farmers, because a lot of them are kind of set in their ways too. They're like, yeah, I mean, I can see where this can work out, but I'm stuck. This is what I've been doing forever. My father did it, my grandfather did it, and I'm just not ready to make that change because they're afraid to step away from that hand that's been feeding them, if you will. And so,
Absolutely. It was interesting. I was recently just in Costa Rica. I won't go down the rabbit hole of what I'm doing, but I'm working currently with some people with 500 acres in Ecuador and a property in Costa Rica, and then I'm working on getting something going here in southern Colorado. But there, the whole country is being decimated. We say Costa Rica and Pura Vida and everything is so lush and tropical, but it's being decimated by the palm oil industry,
mm,
which is contaminating the soil and the water with palm oil, which is really almost impossible to remove. So again, we when we look at these different facets, like you said, it does take a certain level of what I would call biomimicry, that nature is intelligent, nature will regenerate.
yes, yes,
But we have to stop. I mean, even during the pandemic, we saw over those couple of years, as sad as it was, that things kind of shut down, that marine life was repopulating, nature was regenerating, and it just showed that people have to stop doing the negative impact that we're doing to the environment, which of course affects human health. But there is
correct.
an intelligence in nature and a design to that. Unfortunately, some of that gets kind of um, uh, covered over or steamrolled because of the whole idea of the market and consumerism and products
Yeah.
and merchandising. But again, it's amazing that you're finding again some of these solutions that you're working with, and finding success with that.
Yeah, it's all about, just educating people. And that's part of what we're doing with our foundation as well, is we're actually going into the streets, we're going into the trenches, we're helping retrain people's minds about how they shop, how they, utilize what they do with their trash and everything like that. So their mind is open to healthier products. Their
Mhm.
mind is open to eco-friendly products. And what we're trying to do is when we're bringing this to market, we're making it cost effective. So we have the ability to control our cost. And we'll probably get into that with the next subject, but that's pretty key to our success.
Amazing. And you said you were doing one more initiative, correct? Is another.
No, I mean, that's just, I mean, through our foundation, we're doing a lot of outreach through our foundation and education, and a lot of training processes through that. So,
Right. Well, it's such a good point because if people aren't educated, we can kind of keep doing what we're doing in the way that we have been doing it for so long that it's hard for some of these regenerative practices or for some of these what we can say new paradigm or these solutions to take root if we're kind of continuing the old uh, broken model. So I really I like one of the quotes from Buckminster Fuller where he said, don't spend your time fighting systems that don't work. He said, go out and create ones that do work, like these living models and kind of testimonials of some of these things. And of course, right now on the planet, it's become so obviously important. So this is a great introduction with you. And again, I like to always have these interviews because I happen to talk and meet a lot of people. We have our Regen Media TV, and we're constantly kind of trumpeting and elevating the message of people like yourself, innovators and solutionaries in the sustainability, regenerative, and health field because we know that again all these ecosystems are connected. What we do to the environment, we're really doing to our water, to our soil, to our food, which inevitably happens to ourselves. So before we finish, do you have any final words of wisdom that you'd like to share with people about the Promise Worldwide and your essential work?
well, I mean, the key is this, is that we have the ability, because these facilities are self-sustaining. After we get them built and online, they are self-sustaining. So we can go anywhere in the world and provide fresh water. We can provide, we can help fight food scarcity. We can bring education. We can, third world countries that are like just buried, like Puerto Rico, right? They're buried in trash. We can come out there and be a solution for that. They need fresh water. We can be a solution for that. Their education system's kind of getting torn to pieces. We can help out with that. Um, and the big thing is through our foundation, the revenue that we're producing is, my wife and myself, we don't need all of that money. Obviously, the different pieces of industries that we're going into, they generate a lot of revenue. That gives us the ability to reach more people and help change lives, help change minds, and help change the world, change the earth. And that's really what this is all about. This is all about positive change. This is all about saving lives, saving the planet, saving the wildlife, giving them back their habitats. This is what it's all about, and that's why it's been able to go forward. And there has been some pushback, but I mean, because it's such a positive thing, and because it makes sense, that's why we're going forward with this. Right now, we are uh, working on strategic alliances with city-owned landfills, not the ones that are owned by the trash companies. We're going with the city-owned landfills because we can make a strategic alliance with them that makes financial sense for them and takes liability away from them. And that's how you solve problems. You solve problems with how can I help the person that has what I need? And that's what we're focusing on. And so that gives us the ability to create these products that are good for the earth, and we can bring them to market at a compatible price. And that gives us the ability to go out and reach others and change lives for the positive. And that's what this is all about.
Incredible. Bravo to you and your commitment and your work and to the Promise Worldwide. If people would like more information, how can they find you? Do you have a website or a
Yes.
contact number or such?
They can go to our website. It's a promiseworldwide.com, and you will be able to get a wealth of information there. There's a contact us tab on that as well. And if you need further information or if you would like to become part of the process, we're always looking for help out there. You have that contact us there. You can express what you're wanting, what you need, and then we can work with you, and we can all change the world together, you know?
That's it. Everyone has to roll their sleeves up and become part of the
That's right.
solution, not contribute to the problem. There you go. You already got them. You got both sleeves rolled up. There you go. Well, it's really been a pleasure to spend some time with you and get to, know your work more. I'm sure we'll be seeing you. I know that the big Super Green event is coming up
Yep.
January 21st through 23rd. I'm not sure if you're going to be part of that with Professor
I
Tratner.
am. I am. Yeah.
And I'm going to be hosting a regenerative panel also. But lots of opportunities because, as you know, doing this work also takes resources
Yes.
and investment. It can be sweat equity and it can be fiat dollars, but all of this kind of helps move things forward. But Appreciate your time and have a great New Year's. And I'm sure we'll be talking very soon.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. Thank you for having me on.
And thank you to all our viewers for taking some of your precious time to get inspired around social, environmental, and economic change here in a world that's so hungry for it. So thank you for taking your time to watch this video and learn more about Chris Robinson and the Promise Worldwide. Have a great new year. We'll see everyone in 2026.
All right. Bye-bye.